Well, Charlie seemed to finally wear himself out over here. Thank God.
For the first time.
Yes.
He never takes a nap during the show. Oh, you're gonna wake him up? Oh no.
Oh God, no. This is the squirrel that I just gave him this morning. If you could see what a mess that is.
That is no squirrel right there.
No, it's torn to pieces here.
Hey, what is that behind you there on your left side there?
On my left side. Would that be this way?
not...
Squirrel remnants.
Oh, okay.
I'll clean all that
God.
Before Lisa sees it.
Did something die there?
Oh, there's
Wow, there's squirrel remnants. I love it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So did you hear this is sad news. Country music legend Naomi Judd committed suicide.
Oh, I didn't know she committed suicide.
Yes, that's it. She committed suicide. It was so sad.
I didn't know that. I mean, I saw she passed, of course.
Well, she was up. The crazy thing about the timing was that she was winning an award the very next day. She was being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And that was on Sunday, and she committed suicide on Saturday.
Wow.
And, her two daughters, Ashley and Winona, accepted the award for her. And
I saw that.
Very, very sad how the whole thing happened. But apparently Naomi had been suffering from depression for some time, and just really, really bad depression that she had here. And she succumbed to that. Very, very tragic news. This is a family, a faith family, a Christian family. And but this whole thing with depression is a very serious thing that's going on out there now. And
it is
really if you've I know you and I have both had bouts with this kind of thing as well. And it is
it's insidious.
If you've never dealt with it, thank your lucky stars. Thank God on that whole thing. But I remember before I ever dealt with it, I thought, well, why? I thought it was just, you just are sad. That's not even, there's a whole universe of things there that I just didn't know about here. So if you know anybody in that situation,
it's hard to detect.
It is. But these people, the family knew about this, and I think if you're depressed, a good thing to do is tell your family. See a doctor. This is a tough thing. Even the pharmaceuticals are screwing people up as well.
Yes.
I don't know what.
There's something to be said about the pharmaceuticals in two different ways. I remember that I saw a movie, I think I talked about on the podcast well over a year ago. It was on Prime, and it was like,
what was that called again?
Yeah, I got no idea. It was about this young guy.
Actually,
it was really good. A young guy who gets committed, but has to go to the adult sanitarium, if you want to call it that, whatever it was called, mental health facility. Let's call it that. That sounds better.
Right.
And because the younger one was full or something like that. So he gets mentored by someone, the actor, a famous actor who was really good. So I don't remember it. Oh, but I remembered this line, and I told you it. So he's undergoing the initial consultation, the assessment of him. And they're like, well, why did you go off your depression medication? He goes, I didn't need it anymore. I feel fine. And she goes, well, you think maybe it was working?
Right.
It was a really good point, because
that's what happens.
I was recently prescribed a depression medication about that for my seasonal affective disorder, and rather mild. And I was experimenting with it, and I've experimented with a couple, because supposedly the chances of you getting prescribed just the right one for you the first time are pretty rare. Like, you gotta try a couple. And I did, and I didn't, you're always going to get some kind of a side effect or anything. And I stopped both of them. I felt better without. And
did you just stop, or did you wean yourself off of it?
I was at such a low dose. I just stopped.
Good.
Very, very low dose.
Yep.
But so I'm saying there's the double-edged sword. Like I would say that depression medication probably has saved a lot of lives.
I agree. I agree that it.
And then on the other hand, I think you want to try not to be on any medication whatsoever if possible. So try to find a light in your life. Try to find, if you're not being true to yourself in some way or another, make a change. Just try to, me doing that whole dieting thing and the fasting thing clarified my mind so much. It was a big, big positive boon to me. Maybe you need to try something like that, or change your job, or whatever it may be. But I'm saying that there's a good positive place for medication like that.
I agree with that. Yep.
And there's the other side too.
And I think one of the things, I think every case is different. Every person is different as well. So there's not a one size fits all. I thank God that there's medication like that out there. I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole, but I remember one of the first times I was dealing with any kind of depression. I was living in Cleveland and I didn't know what it was. And I was immobilized in my house, not knowing what to do. And I called you. And you came and took me to the doctor. I'll never forget that you did that for me, Barry.
You told me that many times. Of course I would do that.
But the doctor was basically at that time was like, well, here's what it is, but there's really nothing we can do. You're fine. Get out of here.
Panic attack. You said it's a panic attack.
It's just panic attacks. You can't do anything about it. But
I've been there. That's the worst place in this world you can be.
Yeah, it is. And today they've figured out that that's depression, and that there's
untreated depression.
There's things there are medications that they have now, but the problem is they've gone so far on the other side, which is just super medicated, and that's the answer. And now you're on this for life
because of the corruption of the pharmaceutical industry infiltrated into our healthcare.
Exactly right. So you have to monitor this whole thing. And if you're on medication, my suggestion is don't just stop taking it once you start feeling good. Work with your doctor, wean yourself off of it. It's very dangerous to just stop taking. A lot of people, bipolar people too, they just stop taking it and then suddenly a horrible thing happens. So be careful with this stuff.
You know what? To that point, I wasn't going to mention this, but this is like I kind of like meant to. So I've been on blood pressure medication for a couple years, and because of the diet and exercise pickup that I've done, this whole health cleanse thing, I mean, it's not a lot. It's like 10 milligrams of amlodipine.
Right.
And if I'm saying it right, I mean, I could just picture it on the bottle, and it's not a lot at all. But I decided after doing this cleanse about a little over a week ago, I should probably just stop taking this. I've been great. And I've been crushing my workouts. I love all of that.
Good for you.
But this week, my workouts have been like back to being painful. Like I couldn't do them. I could hardly do anything all week. And I had the thought, I'll bet you it took a while, but I bet you it's coming off that amlodipine, just called turkey.
Yeah.
So I started cutting it in half just over the last few days and taking 5 milligrams, and I'm doing better with my workouts.
Really? Okay. That's very
I haven't talked to my doctor.
Yeah,
just me doing. So to your point
about that. Right.
So I'm taking 5 milligrams rather than 10 milligrams. And then I hope in the near future, I'll try to stop taking the 5, and because you can't take any less really.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think that's good. I mean, you don't want to be on these kind of things for any kind of long term, because that's where the pharmaceuticals get you. It's the long term use of these pharmaceuticals, and
in the long run, it's probably like 90% within our own capability to get healthier and off pharmaceuticals. There are going to be cases where that's not the case.
I agree.
And we lie to ourselves about most of them and just take the pharmaceuticals. But it's usually a case of getting your weight under control and doing some exercise will get you off of most medications that you may be on.
Barry, speaking of the exercise thing, so you inspired me. I mean, as we started talking about this a couple of weeks ago, I didn't want to do the fast, but I did say to myself, well, okay,
you will.
I want to be, and I've done it before, and I do this kind of intermittent thing anyhow every day. But I decided, I'm going to get on my bicycle regularly. I'm just going to do that. And I've done that. And I've been going on a ride almost every day now. And I'm getting my mileage up. I'm getting my times up. I have this really cool Garmin that I have, and I put on my bike so I can kind of track my progress and everything. And I got on the scale last night, and I for the first week I didn't lose anything. I just maintained, and then between this week and last week I lost 4 pounds. So hey, not a huge thing, but in a week, I think
good. 4 pounds is a lot in a week, man. I think that's great. Kudos.
I was really 2 weeks, but because I think I was doing a lot of work and maintaining the same weight, but I think there's just some bodily changes that are happening in that process. So we'll see what happens. But Barry, the trail system around here for bicycles is fantastic. I can't even believe how great it is. Last night I went on a night ride. There's a trail system right over by my house. It's beautiful. You're in the total wilderness. It's kind of scary. A coyote ran in front of me last night.
Oh my God.
Totally startled me.
Oh my God. Did you see? I'm sorry. I don't want to, let's get back to that.
I'm good.
Well, because that's really good, positive stuff. But did you see that report about a week ago? Maybe it was this week.
Oh yeah. The coyote went after
that kid at the beach.
Yeah. Tried to drag the kid away.
Holy you know cow. What?
Was that in California?
Yes. I think Huntington Beach. I had a lighter side story about this family that accidentally brings in this baby. You know what? I'm going to share this for a minute. And I decided not to, simply because of that story. Because I don't know how lighter on the lighters, but look at this. Do you see the picture?
Adorable.
Absolutely adorable.
That's a
family
coyote?
in Massachusetts. Yeah. I thought they found a lost puppy. It's actually a distressed baby coyote. Now, if you go on to read the thing, the article, they're talking about the extreme percentage of rabies that are carried by coyotes. So they were like, thank God that this couple brought this coyote into the wildlife center so it was identified before they got bit or something.
Wow.
Because then the baby would have had to been destroyed right away by law. And they would have to go out some kind of therapy. So I didn't want to share it for that reason. But look how cute.
So cute, though. Yeah.
No, my God.
I could imagine, like, hey, I found this cat. And it's like a mountain lion.
Right. Oh, but I wanted to bring that back to how fun what I get out of your exercise routine is you're doing like the most fun thing ever.
It's so sustainable, right?
And it's so good to your mind too.
Right. And here's the other thing is Anne Marie is getting into it as well.
Look at this is awesome.
And so she'll ride. She hasn't been doing it every night, but almost like every other night. So the cool thing is we ride together. It's a whole different ride when we ride together. And then when I ride, I'm really pushing myself, right? But it's good to have those two things. And I love riding with Anne Marie. We really have a good time. And
it's good for the relationship.
I have one of those. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's THULE. And somebody told me it's pronounced tool, but it's those really great bike racks.
I have one. Yeah. I have
the goes same. Into the tow hitch and everything. So
but mine is not. Mine's the one that screws up my car.
Oh, okay. Dude, I got like a tow hitch and I put it on my Jeep and I got the rack. It makes it so easy. Just I can have my bicycle on that thing in like 30 seconds and then boom, I'm gone. And I can lock it on. The tow hitch locks into my car. You can't take it. And then my bicycle locks into the tow hitch.
Let me ask you.
Or into the bike rack. So if I want to go to a restaurant or whatever, I don't have to be like constantly like somebody's stealing my bike.
That's a big deal because
it is huge.
There's a lot of places I won't go if my bike's on in the back.
See,
so when you don't have your bikes on there, do you take the apparatus off or do you leave it on? And is it easy?
It's not hard at all. It takes, I mean, literally, if I
easier
wanted to
than
take
that bike rack that I put on my trunk.
Easier. Look, it would take me like 15 to 20 minutes to get both my bike and Anne Marie's bike on that old rack, and then I inevitably scratch my car and my bike.
Right.
And not only that, when I would drive down the road, I was so paranoid that my bikes were going to fly off the back of my car.
Well, I've taken mine to New York and back on it. No problems whatsoever. But I had my car quoted to get the trailer hitch part put on so that I could then buy the bike rack. Correct.
See,
and that was like $300. And I was like, I'm not spending well, now I need about $1,200 worth of body work done to my trunk of my car.
It totally saves. I went through the same thing, and it was just like, okay, it's $300 to put the tow hitch, and the freaking tow, the rack is like $300, right? And so, but once you do that, it's like you forget all about that, and you're just like, oh, thank God. And the other thing too was when I used the old style, we'd get done with our ride, and it'd take me another 20 minutes to get those bikes back on there and everything. And it was just a pain in the butt, man. Now it's just so easy. And when I get home, getting the rack out of my car, 30 seconds, I'm done.
I gotta do that for sure. I definitely have to.
I highly recommend. It changes the whole experience. It totally makes you mobile. Like you're just like, oh, it's over there. Okay, boom. I'm going there, and you're driving there. You're not all worn out and sweaty because you've been wrestling these bikes, and you're all in a good mood, and you're whistling on the way over there. Okay, so Saturday morning, I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. I got my coffee. I thought Marie and I were going to go for a ride. She didn't feel like getting up that early, but the sun was coming. Dude, the sunrises here are glorious. Oh, and I'm in my car early in the morning. The sun's coming up. I'm heading to one of my favorite trails. I'm in the best freaking mood. Yeah. I get on the trail. There's no homeless people on the trail. That's the thing in Los Angeles. They all hang out on the trails. It's dangerous. But instead, you got these neighbors or people like from here that are there, and they're all walking and everything, and everyone's in the best mood. You know, good morning, and you just feel so good. You know, so I'm doing that again. We're gonna go on a night ride tonight. Oh, really loving that, and I think I'm gonna go on another.
I'm jealous
tomorrow. Oh, dude, when you come to visit. And they'll notice how I'm saying it. When you come to visit, I'm going to take you on a couple of these, and we're going to really, really enjoy it.
So you have the mountain bike and your road bike.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, last time when I visited you in LA, you gave me the bike that was a death trap.
Well, I rode the hell out of that thing. Yeah, I didn't realize that that you were going to die.
That was dangerous.
I'm glad you didn't run over any of those holes.
If I had to use the brakes, it was either they're not on or they're all the way on.
So you'd be like,
which is funny because I remember years before that when I lent you a bike here in Cleveland Heights. I lent you my old bike, and I remember looking over at your big asses as you were like the stem of the seat was bending, and you were slowly
going
moving towards the tire.
Yeah,
it was so
that's
funny.
What happens with those that say, "Here, look at this bike."
Neither of us
dust on it.
Neither of us are polite enough to give you the good bike, and I take the one that
I'm riding this one. This one's too dangerous. But no, I got rid of that bike. I got it all fixed up. I took it to the bike shop and got it all fixed up, and I gave it to Brandon. I don't know if he's ridden it or not, but he's got it. But I have the road bike, and I have my newer mountain bike now. Both of those are in fine operating condition, so you're good to go.
All right.
What do we got?
Well, yeah, do you see the movie thing? Yeah. Oh, cool. Cause I don't. I just wanted to tell you about a movie that I watched last night on Amazon Prime, which I highly recommend. It's called Jungle. And it stars the dude that I think starred in Harry Potter. Yeah, started in Harry Potter. I never really watched though. Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, but you know what he looks like, and so you think, oh, he looks like a little kid. Well, he's got a beard in this.
That's mind blowing.
Yes. So it's a great movie. I love survivalist kind of movies. I always have in books and stuff. And this is a true story about this guy, it's set in the 80s. And this guy, Daniel Radcliffe, he, instead of going into the family law practice or whatever, he decides he wants to find himself and travel the world a little bit. He goes to South America, and to a remote part of South America where he wants to go trekking through the jungle, hence the name of the movie, Jungle.
Okay. Right.
He actually meets a friend there, sees a friend there. Apparently, this is kind of a thing where Americans will go and find themselves in this regard, and it's very cool. It made me very jealous that I haven't done this. And then they meet a friend of that guy. So there's the three of them. And then they find a guy that will be their American guy that has lived out there in South America forever, knows the jungle, and will take them on an extended hike to go see like these natives that nobody's ever seen before. The one guy's a photographer, sells his stuff to National Geographic and travels the world. So he's all excited about it. And again, this is a true story. And well, it turns out that their guide is a total fraud that was wanted on a number of charges that I don't remember what, but so he was lying about this native tribe that they were going to go see way out in the middle of the jungle. And Daniel Radcliffe gets separated from everybody else by getting trapped in these rapids on a raft, and he goes way down through these rapids, and everybody thinks he's dead. He's on his own for 3 weeks in the jungle trying to survive.
Oh my gosh.
Boy, do they capture that well. Just the terrifying nature of being there at night by yourself. No weapons, no shelter, no nothing. The sound, they do it like the sound is overwhelming. And
wow,
of all the living creatures out there.
I can't imagine. I was startled by a coyote. I can't imagine this.
Oh, you couldn't. So it's a terrific movie, and it's on Amazon Prime. Most of us have it. Highly recommend it. It's called Jungle.
That's cool. Thanks for that recommendation. I love that.
Yeah, really. And I'd say that's a really good Friday night movie or Friday Sunday morning.
Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah. Very, very nice. Very nice.
You see anything recently? I'm gonna have to go.
You know what? I'm trying to think. Nothing actually came to mind as I was thinking about that. I did have one thing I wanted to bring up before we adjourn was the Dave Chappelle thing. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, it happened so long ago now that I forgot. You know that
that was two days ago.
What? Nah, there's a few more than that. But anyways, I just heard this morning.
About the same thing?
Oh, sure. I just heard this morning that the California DA isn't going to press charges against this guy.
It's not California, it's Los Angeles, and we've talked about this before. It's George Gascon. Yeah, he's the DA there. Yeah, that's exactly right. He was up in San Francisco. He screwed up San Francisco, so he came down to Los Angeles to screw that up too. He's doing a great job. And so this guy attacked Chappelle. He had a knife, and so they're looking at
a fake gun. Assault that had a switchblade type knife in it. Like how terrifying, like the knife wasn't bad enough. You got to do the gun thing too.
Right. And you look at this guy too. He's just, the epitome of a punk. I mean, he looks like he's all up. I know he's 5'7". I saw some pictures of him. He's a real skinny guy.
What's his story? Is he mentally ill?
We don't know yet. If that hasn't come out, but did you see the video of it?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a good video.
No, I didn't see a good video of it either. But here's a couple of things that came off. Scott brought this up to me is, if you notice, Dave Chappelle is looking a lot more like buff than he normally does. Dave Chappelle's always been a real skinny guy. But he looks like he's been working out a lot now. And so here comes this real skinny guy to like tackle him. And
5'7".
I saw it in slow motion. And Dave got taken off guard, but the guy almost bounces right off of Dave Chappelle when he goes to tackle him, and then he just gets the royal beat down from Chappelle's staff. So I like how Chappelle was just like, I gotta see this, and he goes, and then afterwards he's like, that was a trans man. And just when you just think about
Chris
it,
Rock,
everything that he's gone
Chris
through,
Rock goes, was that Will Smith?
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
I think a lot of funny stuff kind of happened right there, and but the fact that Gascon is going to charge him with a misdemeanor instead of felonious assault. Go ahead.
Why? And I had this as soon as I heard that verdict here this morning. I heard that. Why isn't this on Dave? As to pressing charges, and why would it not obviously be a felonious assault being a knife? I mean, I think so. I'm guessing that Chappelle decided not to press charges.
No, this is well, from what I understand, and maybe this will come out in the wash here, but it was Gascon deciding not to, because there were criminal charges against him. It wasn't necessarily Dave Chappelle pressing charges. I mean, he attacked Dave Chappelle in a public setting at a public venue. So there's a criminal assault that happened right here. And Gascon decided not to charge him with the felony. That's what the decision was. Wow. He's being charged with 3 misdemeanors, actually. We're not sure what the penalty is going to be on those misdemeanors, but the guy's carrying a knife. He comes into a public venue. He jumps onto the stage and tackles the guy. And he is clearly felonious assault, but this is what happens in Los Angeles. This is a Los Angeles thing that we're seeing right now, and it's screwing up the whole town, actually. Oh yeah, I have been for a long time. I don't know anything about the law and all that, but I would think that this guy should stand a trial to just let a jury decide his mental capacity, because maybe they're all talking he's mentally ill, in which case then you certainly get a degree of forgiveness. But I think a jury needs to decide that, and so appropriate attorneys need to argue that. And then let that the proper punishment be taken from there. What I do know is that dude got so rocked by those guys and a broken arm and all that, a degree of punishment was taken out already. Well, that's what happens when you go up there and mess around like that. I wouldn't expect any less if it were me. Right. Yeah. And, so he apparently made a video before that, which he's a rapper, this kid. And it was all about Dave Chappelle. So this was premeditated. He was actually in the rap standing on top of a Los Angeles police car, flipping everybody off and everything. So this is the kind of guy we're dealing with right here. Mental. I don't know if it sounds like something wrong. The video was certainly pretty shocking, but I think it's kind of wild what's happening with comedy these days. You know what I mean? Like the Will Smith thing, and this coming together, just like, okay, so now if you're and Dave Chappelle is hilarious. But like it's only black comics though, dude. Yeah, it's also very interesting. Well, let's keep an eye on this. I think it's interesting. You didn't think that was a little funny? Well, it's only black comics. Now that I think about it, it's super ironic, right? Like, why is this happening? Why is this? I don't get it. I think it's just the product of from the defund the police thing to the Seattle BS that went on there. The crap going on in Portland. I haven't heard about Portland in a while. All of the lawlessness trend that's been going on, I think it's all just a byproduct of that. And of course, all these Soros appointed people that have been, you're right, it's very purposefully spreading this kind of campaign. Yeah, I think you're right about that. But I have to say that I ended up through watching that whole thing. I ended up liking Dave Chappelle even more. Yeah, I don't agree with everything that he says, but I like the guy. And he was so funny. One of the things, it's a good thing this guy was kind of clumsy. kind of stumbled before he got to Dave Chappelle. Well, Chappelle's going to turn this into some excellent material with an upcoming special. He did immediately too. I mean, it's just funny. I mentioned before, I was never a huge fan of Chappelle. I tried to get into him and I just couldn't. But until I saw The Closer, and I thought, man, that's a work of art.
when it got to the closing, it blew my mind.
I was in tears.
And
then I was like, why are these people protesting?
All paths led to that because they didn't watch the special. They only heard the buzz. That's why.
That's exactly right. Well, one of my favorite Dave Chappelle skits, and I think it was the very first episode that he did, was when he had the Dave Chappelle show, was there was this notorious KKK guy that would only show up on the radio, and he would spew all this hatred and everything. And so one day he was going to show up in public, and all these people came. Well, the thing is that the KKK guy is Dave Chappelle, and he's blind and doesn't know that he's black. So when he shows up in front of the crowd, they're like, "Get up!" And he thinks they're talking about somebody else, and he's going, "Yeah, get him!"
That's hysterical.
It's the funniest thing ever.
That's just so silly. Oh God, that's funny.
They're trying to get to him so desperately, and he's just as angry.
Where did you see that?
It was the Dave Chappelle show. It's like one of the first episode of the Dave Chappelle show.
I heard repeatedly that was magic. That's what made him meteorically rise to fame.
Yeah. Some of the stuff that's in there, it's just so like creative. Like who would have thought that? That was really, really funny.
That is funny.
His facial expressions and everything. It's just really, really good. Anyway. So that's all I got over here.
All right, dude. I am going to have to go for when I'm starving, doing my intermittent fasting. Time for me to go eat.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to sign off for a minute.